Windows Server 2019 System Administration. Welcome back everybody. I'm Prakash Pradhan, your trainer for this entire series. In today's topic, we're going to talk about one of the most important role that was being launched by the Microsoft with the Windows Server 2012. When we talk about the data storage and saving a hard disk space, thanks to the Microsoft that they have come up with some of the unique this solution with the Windows Server 2012 that we call a data deduplication. Actually, this data deduplication, when it was launched, it couldn't get its maximum popularity in the market because the moment when the data deduplication was used or launched in the market, that was a single threaded. Now, single threaded, that means, let me take you to the simple example. Okay, let's say this is your let's say a data, okay, that you are going to utilize it or send it any kind of request by the client. If you are using a multi-threaded over here, when the one user send a request, in order to have access or process over this data, the work will continue as it is. But if you are using the single threaded application over here, in that case, if at the same time another user wanted to process this similar type of data, then what's gonna happen? It is going to put in a waiting. That means it has to wait. The one who has sent a request in order to process the data will get processed by the time the second one has to wait. So that is some kind of your single threading actually. So when we come to the Windows Server 2016, by the time we move to the Server 2016, thanks to Microsoft, they have overcome this issue. That means since Server 2016 only, this data deduplication got popularity in a market among the system administrators. That means they have come up with the multi-threaded. That means multi-threading system is over here. In that case, no matter how many clients are trying to access or trying to process a similar kind of data, processor is going to handle it all. I do believe you all know that multi-threading, this processor can process multiple data at the same time. So that problem was solved with the help of Windows Server 2016 only. Now let's understand what is the meaning of this data deduplication. After understanding this multi-threading, I guess everybody knows this. Now, when we talk about the data deduplication, Microsoft come up with one of the most important role, or let's say it was some kind of solution for your data storage that saves the pain of every system administrator. Okay, that means the overflow, that means the shortage of your hard disk space if the multiple data are stored having the similar libraries or the binaries. So let me explain in detail in easiest way. Let's take it this way. This is my system. Let's say all of these files that I'm having in my system. No problem. Let's say there is one folder, or let's say easiest way it might be, if we talk in terms of let's say ISO image file. Okay, this is my ISO image file, 1 GB. For instance, this is same files, another copy I have stored in some other volume. If this is in C drive, let's say this is in D drive now. Same data. For the sake of the security, okay, so that your data will not get lost, this user, whoever is sitting in this computer, might be making another copy of this data also. Some other drive, again now, might be inside some of the folders. That means, again, the same file having the same size, same binaries, this file has made a duplicate copy in some other volume also. Now, if I see from the security point of view, data security point of view, that means if by accident, okay, unknowingly, if this ISO file is deleted, still we don't have to worry. Why? We still have 3 more copies. If this data is also removed, deleted by some means, some reason, don't worry, we do have more 2 copies. And I don't think that all of these data are going to be crashed at the same time. But let me tell you now the problem. If this was the 1 GB of data, this is 2 GB, now this is 3 GB, now this is 4 GB. Now you guess yourself. Having a 1 ISO image file, if you are using 4 GB of space, think about the files or the folders that you are going to store in your network. That means very soon you are going to come across here or the issues having a less storage capacity in your hard disk. That is the biggest issue of every system administrator. Now thanks to Microsoft, they have come up with the new solution that we call data deduplication, that was launched with the Server 2012, don't forget. But that was a single threaded, but when we come to the Server 2016, that single threaded was removed. Now it has come to the multi-threading. That means it can process the data multiple at the same time. Now there is no issue. But now let's see how does it work. After you deploy this data deduplication role in Windows Server 2019, now what happens? System will analyze, read all the binaries of the file. This is the same file, same size. Same file, same size. Same file, same file, same size. That means now it will understand these files are having 3 more copies. Now what the computer is going to do with the help of this data deduplication, it is going to save only one image file. And rest of the image file that I have in a form of my files, it will store only the calculation of that. That means this will be stored as a calculation. This is also as a calculation, this is also as a calculation, but only this folder or this file or this ISO image will be saved. That means only 1 GB will be used from your hard disk, and rest of the 3 GBs it is not going to occupy the space. That means it will store in its memory as a calculation only. That means it saves you a lot of time in your hard disk, lot of space, I mean to say that. So we should take it as a storage solution actually. Okay, so it saves you a lot of space in your hard disk. Normally what happens, the client, they used to copy their files, okay, any of the documents and store it in multiple locations. Now you see, same file they have stored in more than 3 or 4 locations. Sometimes even I do by mistake, it happens. Normally we open a file, we save it in some drive, next day we open the file, we try to, we intend to make a duplicate copy of that file in some other location. That means your file is scattered now. That means in that case, it is going to study all the libraries, let's say the binaries, and it is going to analyze the space, and it is going to save only one data from your disk, and rest of the data's information will be stored in a form of the calculation in its memory. That means it's going to save you enough space in the hard disk. Okay, so let's see practically how to implement this one and how does it work. So let me take you to my server. This is my server, okay, and I might be having 2 volumes. Okay, let's see if I'm not making a mistake. I'm having the 2 volume. One I have created something like E drive, I guess. That means E volume. So let me check. Yeah, obviously, see over here, this is empty. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a multiple copy of some of the file. Okay, let's say from the program file, let's take it any of the file, let's say Windows mail only, just as a form of file only I'm taking. Let's say I'm gonna paste it. Let's see the size. Okay, let me show you the size practically. The size is 621 KB. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a duplicate copy of it, and I'm gonna make so many copies here. See now, same file, same binary, see, 4 copies are there altogether. Similar data, it's the same data, but it is stored in multiple locations. Now don't forget, it depends upon you which volume you are going to enable this data deduplication in order to save your hard disk space. So now I would like to show you again, go to the properties and see the space 621. That means 6 4s are 24, more than that. So let me take you to this space. If I see the property of this file, see now, 24, I told you, 2.42 MB. Okay, now with the help of data deduplication, it is going to store only the calculation of all of these folders, all of these 3 files, and only this folder will be stored. That means only one of the folder will occupy the space of your hard disk. Rest of the data will not occupy the space in your hard disk, only in the case if the data deduplication is being enabled. Okay, it is done in volume based, don't forget that. Now first let me show you how to install it. Let's go to the role. It is under the file system only because this is related to your file service only. Okay, Now let me take you the process of installing this data deduplication, which is not installed by default. Okay, now let's go to manage and let's go to add a role, I guess, most probably. Okay, it's loading it, that we call in ICT. I believe that you still remember I've said long back ago in my video 1 or 2, okay, many months back, I guess. The time frame that we see over here, it's loading all of the roles, all of this console, okay, this dashboard, I mean to say. This time frame is known as a initial configuration test. It takes time. So let's go to manage and roles, and I'm gonna take you to the process. Simply, this is the domain, and we already know this is inside over here, file and storage. Okay, it's a storage mechanism. Actually, data deduplication is over here. Okay, store it, nothing else, just install it. I mean to say, just install this role. So after installing, you'll notice over here, when I go to the file and storage, over here data deduplication will get listed actually in a volume. Okay, but right now it is not installed. See, listed now because we simply click to install. Okay, install now in a one volume only. Let it install fully, then I'm going to show you how to configure this one. It shouldn't take that much long, I guess. In spite of having in a virtual, I don't think it's going to take a long. Let it install fully. Okay, start it. Okay, now over here, if you study in my volume, see, deduplication rate, nothing. Because why? Just now we have only installed this role. Configuration is yet to be done. And data deduplication saving, that means it's gonna show you over here what amount of space data deduplication saved from your hard disk. Okay, it's a storage mechanism actually. So let me take you back over here in a role. Okay, almost done. Wait for a few more seconds and then we're gonna see practical implementation of this data deduplication. Trust me guys, it's gonna save you a lot of time, a lot of space, I mean to say that. Okay, because normally staff, they used to scatter their file in a file server, even in their own PC, if they are using the server family operating system, I guess. Normally this work goes under the burden of your, I mean to say, the responsibility of system administration to reduce this kind of issues to save your space. Okay, now close it. If I go over here, data deduplication rate is here, deduplication saving is there. Nothing is set till now. Now you need to choose the volume where you want to enable that feature in order to save your space in a hard disk where the files are scattered, the same file, same binaries. Okay, now if I take you to the system volume, let's see now. That means the volume where the operating system is installed. If I go to right click, you see configure data duplication is not enabled here. It will not allow you to touch this. Okay, now let's go to the volume where I have stored the file. Okay, right click, configure data deduplication. By default it's disabled. I'm gonna enable for file server. Don't forget it supports VDI as well. Okay, but right now our concern is the general purpose for file server. And after that, if I take you to this line, okay, deduplicate files older than in 3 days, but I would like to show you right now only. We can't wait for the 3 days, so I'm going to give it 0. Okay, I'm going to give 0. That means implement it immediately. It means to say that. And you don't have an option, okay, the custom file extensions to exclude. You have option for that also, and you can also schedule it. Deduplication schedule can be done. It is up to you now. Okay, how many days a week, in how many hours, the duration of your file, entire things can be set from here. It is up to you. If you wanted to set from here, that means if you would like to schedule this data deduplication, you can do as per that. But right now I need to show you the practical whether it works or not. So that's why I'm going to select it, general purpose for the file server, and the duplicate file older than 0. That means immediately. Okay, and we have set the id volume, apply. Okay, see now, duplication rate 0, duplication saving 0. Take you back to the same drive. That means the volume, you know, the habit has come to say some sort of your drive all the time. So let's see now over here. If I calculate the space, property, altogether 2 MB. Okay, actually the file that we are going to store it only from the one folder. Okay, the size is 621 KB. Now what this data deduplication is going to do, it is going to save only one folder, and rest of the folders, these 3 folders, only the calculation will be stored. That means these 3 folders space will not be used or occupied in this hard disk. Okay, now let's go to the setting over here. Now I'm going to take you to the volume. Okay, there's nothing to be panicked if I have to show you again from the scratch. Okay, let's go to the server manager. I might be fast, so that's why I'm taking you here back again. Let it load. Okay, let this dashboard get load first. Okay, file stand storage, go to the volume. Since this has already been enabled in that volume, now we need to see it works or not. See, still it's the same thing. E volume, duplication rate 0, duplication saving. It has not done any saving. That means the hard disk space is not saved. Rate is also 0. Why? I guess Microsoft want you to learn the PowerShell. You need to hit one command. It's not over yet. Go to the PowerShell. It's mandatory. Okay, it's mandatory. Otherwise, this will not be shown over here. Now, let me take you to the PowerShell, and you need to hit a command. There is no harm on learning some script shells. Okay, what I want to do, I want to start. What I want to start? Dedup job. Okay, dedup job. I need to start on which volume? Remember that volume was E. Okay, and what type? That is the optimization. Data deduplication job started immediately on which volume? E volume. So what type of work you are going to perform with the help of this data deduplication? That is an optimization, obviously, and I'm going to enter it. See, it is saying progress 0, state queued. It has not finished yet. See here, it takes time, few seconds most probably. It depends upon the size of your file also. I mean to say that if your volume is having the huge amount of space, let's say almost like 500 GB, and in a 500 GB it has to study all the binaries. It has to study the size of file, name of file, the binaries of file. In that case, it takes time. But right now we are using small amount of space. It won't take that much. So if you'd like to see the status over here, okay, rather than using start, you can use get also. It will show you the status. Okay, get, just write get, rest send. Now it will show you the task. Okay, it says error. But trust me, it is not error. That means your work is already done. If I have to refresh over here, see, it will show you now. Let it calculate. Once the calculation is done, it shows there. Now see here, I told you. See, duplication saving. 2.4 MB is saved. Okay, so it has successfully performed its tasks. Then you might be wondering, then why did it give the error over here? This setting, it has come this way from the Microsoft. Once this dedup job is started, and when you go to see the detail of this optimization, this process, if the process has completed, it will show you this message. If it has not completed, it will show you what amount of this optimization process is in a process. But right now your work is already done, so that's why it's showing this kind of error message. So you don't have to worry about it. Okay, now see, this amount of space is saved. Now when we go for the huge amount of data, maybe 500 GB TV or 2, 4, 10, any kind of amount of data, in that case, trust me guys, it's gonna save you a lot of space in hard disks. Okay, so this was the simple, actually the role that was launched or given by the Microsoft in order to save the space in a hard disk. So I believe it was easy going. You understood clearly. So if you find it fruitful, please do like and subscribe. Thank you.